I'll be giving a brief demonstration of the Untangle software. Before we begin, I'll tell you a little bit about where the Untangle software is installed on your network. You can install the Untangle software on a dedicated server or order a pre-installed appliance from Untangle. You can place the server somewhere between all the desktops and the internet. A common scenario is installing as a transparent bridge between your firewall and your main network switch. You can also replace your current firewall with the Untangle server. Either way, it just has to sit somewhere between the desktops and the internet. You do not need to install any software on the desktops themselves. I'll now be switching to the main user interface. The part that I've skipped before this is obviously the installation of the appliance or the server itself, a wizard that gets it up and running such that it can talk to the internet. At this point, what you're looking at is an empty virtual rack, which is the main metaphor we've used to configure the device. On the left, you have an online library of applications. What Untangle does is go out there and find the best open source projects available, package those applications into our online library so that users can download them. In this case, if I wanted to download one, I just click on it. What it actually does is download from our online library into your local server and pop in over here on the right as a new virtual appliance in your virtual rack. So setting up your network is basically just choosing the applications you want to run and downloading those from the online library. I'll now switch to a box that's already installed. You can tell this one's up and running because the graphs are moving. There's actually data flowing through this box. This is our firewall here. All the applications are already installed. Each application is a little bit different, so I can click on the Show Settings tab, and that will bring down the settings tray for that application. In this case, I'm looking at Web Content Control, so I could configure which things I wanted to block. So if I wanted to block porn, I could do that, or webmail, or gambling. I just choose what I want my policy to be. I can also go over to the URLs tab and add specific sites that I want to be blocked, espn.com. When I'm done, I hit Save, and that saves my settings and now applied to my whole network. Similarly, I can go through any one and choose the Show Settings tab. Each one's a little bit different because they're such different applications. The virus blocker, I can figure what to be scanned, intrusion prevention, what I want to be scanned, and so on and so on. One of the more interesting applications is Untangle Reports. What Untangle Reports does is it digs through a database every night that all these applications are dumping into. Everything that's going on in your network is stored in this database, and Untangle Reports will produce a report and email it out to you. You can also browse it on the web, which I'll do now. Here you can view a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. I'll look at the monthly. It'll show you what's going on in your network over the last month. In this case, you can see when people leave and come to the office. The bandwidth usage obviously goes up during the day. You get some general statistics like how much bandwidth you're using and so on. In the spam graph, you can see we get spam pretty much 24/7. You get more real email during the day. Here we get about 50% spam, which is a little lower than average. And each application has its own sub-report. In the case of Web Content Control, which we talked about a little bit, you can see when people come in the office, they obviously browse the web quite a bit. You can go into the sub-reports and say, well, what are the top websites going on in my network? What are people looking at? What are my top web users? What are my top policy violators? If something stuck out as something to investigate, you can go into user summary, and then you get a separate report for each user. So you can scroll down here and look at the different users and say, what is this person doing? And that'll show you what that specific person's doing. You can also go back to the policy violation level and just look at each and every policy violation by time or by user or by client. Each report's a little bit different, but the idea is it gives you a really broad view of exactly what's going on in your network. And that is a brief demonstration of the Untangle software.